mind several times. I did have a plan, but I did not follow it. And there's one name that is the reason why, and that name is Ian. I'm assuming most of you have had a chance to read. You might want to cover your ears if you haven't. Oh, wow, okay, lots of people. Okay, keep them covered. All right, so, you know, Jared was supposed to be it, right? He was the love interest. And then as I started writing it, he really got on my last nerve because he was so inflexible. He just would not bend. And then I have Ian, who all of a sudden develops this compassion, and he's so kind, and he starts thinking about all sides of things. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not going to ignore that. And so he changed into the story. Okay, I'm done. You take the handstand. Okay. Although we might have to do that again. There's some good questions in here. Oh, this was interesting. How come a distinguishing characteristic of so many of your characters is in the eyes? Reflective, red, gold, black. Good question. I think in my subconscious is locked the idea of the eyes are the window to the soul. When you're looking to someone to know what they're thinking and get that context in the conversation, you look into their eyes, and you can always, that's usually the best way to tell if someone's being sincere, if someone is thinking something besides what they're saying. The eyes usually give people away, so subconsciously that showed up in my characters. The eyes are always what gives them away. All right, this is my favorite question. In the host, you mentioned, I can't remember the page, that the alien names were mixed up with the Jims and the Pams. Was this a reference to The Office? Yes. I knew I had to picture some generic names that I was working on, like Jim and Pam, and then giggled to myself, so yes. See, this question confused me a little bit, but I just wanted to get it out there so it would be answered. At the beginning, when the host was first mentioned, the website said it was co-authored, What's the Story? I'm guessing this is a little bit of confusion with the Prom Nights compilation that I did that had several authors. The host was never anything but my personal project, just FYI. Okay. Do you know people that inspired your characters in the host? For example, did you know someone like Uncle Jeb? Because he is awesome. I agree. There's only one character in the host that I think is really based on someone. I really don't know an Uncle Jeb. I love Uncle Jeb. He seems so real to me. And when I was working on it, it seemed like I must know somebody like that because his voice came through so clearly, but I still don't know where he came from. The character that is like a real-life person is Doc, is very similar to my brother Seth, who is also like 6'6" and thin and really, really sweet. And so that was sort of where Doc came from. He's the webmaster, by the way, so he got to read a book. All right, which planet was your favorite to create? My personal favorite, I think, was the planet of the bats, or the singing world. I love the idea of a planet where music was sort of the ultimate expression of conversation and emotion, and every kind of human interaction was based on music. I liked that. And flying would be cool. Okay, this person was very prepared. It's typed. You were in the middle of the Twilight Saga and you literally stopped to write this book. So many of the themes in the host, love and sacrifice, original sin and atonement, immortality and the preciousness of humanity, are implicit in or just peeking out from behind the lighthearted surface of the Twilight story. Did you find yourself drawn to the host as a chance to explore issues you couldn't properly pursue in a rose-tinted YA romance? There are two misconceptions in this question. One is that I stopped writing to work on the host. I was in the middle of editing, and I had learned around the time I started editing New Moon that if you write your books back to back before you edit them, you make a lot of extra work for yourself. So I knew I didn't want to write book 4 before book 3 was completely edited, so I didn't have to rewrite everything again. So I was trying really hard not to write book 4, and the host gave me that creative outlet, so I wasn't too tempted. And then I have never consciously chosen a demographic. When I wrote Twilight, I didn't think, wow, I want to write a book for YA readers. That's a really hot market right now. I wanted to tell myself a story, and I didn't want anyone else to see it. With the host, it was similar. I did know there was a better chance that people would see this one if I finished it. But I was writing for myself, and I didn't think about whether it was YA or if I could explore deeper issues. It was just the way the story came, and because of the characters that were in it and the situation, it did make for some deeper things I got to explore, but the first person who said, hey, this is an adult novel, it's not me. That was my agent when I sent it to her. I'm like, okay, cool.